Welcome to the show, The Total You. And I am your hostess, Maurice Wallace, and we're under the direction of Abundant Faith Cathedral, and the bishop is Joel T. Wallace. Remember, the show is about that total you. It's all encompassing your mind, body, soul, and spirit. You're not just in one little part, but you're in a community. And with that, we're going to learn about so many different things that encompass making the total you. Okay. And today my guest is
Nicole Machini.
Nicole Machini. And you think, right. You think I don't know who she is, but I do. But I don't like slaughtering her name, okay? So that's why she keeps saying it. But Nicole is here again with us, and she is from the Second Star Financial Incorporated. And I'm going to read you what her flyer says. Yes, you can be debt-free. You never have to accept that when the unexpected plunges you into a financial hardship, it means the end of your dreams. You never have to accept that the first step toward a brighter financial future is too big to take. And next, take that step now, create your own second start, and get out of debt faster and more affordably than you've ever dreamed of possible. And this is what she's about, the Second Start Financial Incorporated. And the first showing, we talked about the credit reports and the credit collections. And a lot of people don't realize a lot of the things we were talking about. So can you kind of just give us an overtake of what we discussed?
We were discussing how to achieve our goals. And
Okay.
the first thing that we were saying is that we need to identify
Okay.
what is our goal.
Okay.
Then we should pull a soft pull, which would either be a Credit Karma, or we can go to Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax
Okay.
and do a pull on ourselves so that
Okay.
we can get an idea of where do we stand.
Okay. And remember, that was free. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we wanted to see how do we execute to achieve our goals.
Okay.
And if we are so far into debt that we can't see the light of day, this is where we can reach out to my company, Second Start Financial,
Okay.
and you can be speaking with one of our specialists that can coach you through how to get out of the
debt.
stinking hole.
Yes, she says you can be debt free, and you're not too deep that you can't get out of.
You're never too deep that you can't get out.
Okay, I'm reminded of a story. Please forgive me. Like I said, I go all off. There is a story of an animal that's stuck in a hole, and the farmers are trying to get this animal out. And they says, well, he's too far deep down in there. So they started burying him with dirt. And they started throwing the dirt on him. And the animal says, oh. And so he started stomping the dirt down. And next thing you know, he's up out of there because they were trying to bury him, but he used that dirt to his advantage. And that's like you.
Wow.
We're using something to get us out of the hole. And
Yes.
you're going to be that part that's going to help us come up out of that debt hole.
What people don't realize is I truly understand.
Okay.
When people call in and they say you don't understand, I understand.
Okay.
I'm divorced.
Okay.
So people don't realize what that does to your credit and your financial standing.
Okay.
You know, you're a part of a 2-income home and now you're going to a 1-income home. I know what that does to you.
Okay.
I've also had to go through a bankruptcy myself.
Okay.
I have been through the ringer and back. And so I do understand and I know what it takes. And I know that you just have to have that strength and that will and that want to get out, and you can.
A lot of people, like you just mentioned, bankruptcy, they feel that that's their only recourse.
It is not. It should be the last resort.
Okay.
Because when you are in debt settlements, depending on the amount of debt that you're in, you can technically qualify to buy a house after 6 months of payments.
Okay. Whoa.
Yes, in some instances.
Okay.
But either way, you're on a path to be able to get out of the debt.
So if I show myself as being a stable person paying for at least 6 months with my collection agencies, and I'm showing them proof, then that shows the mortgage companies per se that
It's a case-by-case scenario.
Okay.
But in some cases, it can be as little as 6 months.
Okay.
But at least you will not have that bankruptcy over your head for the next 7 years.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. 7 years.
Yes.
And a
And
lot of
even then, it doesn't always fall off. So,
Oh,
for example, if you've had a bankruptcy,
mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, American Express won't accept you.
Okay.
So it will definitely follow you.
Okay. So it's best to kind of learn how to manage your debt
Mhm.
responsibly.
Mhm.
And that's why you're here to give us that second start.
Yes.
Amen. Okay. We're here because a lot of, like we say, we didn't go into it last time, but there are a lot of resources
Yes.
that a lot of people are not aware of.
Yes. And that's the problem, is that we're just not aware of the resources.
Okay.
So the great thing is now that people are starting to be aware of all of the great programs and grants that are offered by the state of Michigan to help buy homes.
Okay.
Okay. However, not everybody knows or realizes that if you have collections, you can't get the grants.
Okay. So
Now, you can have a small bit of collections and still get an FHA loan,
okay.
but the grants, 9 out of 10 times, you can't get the grant if you have collections. So what do we have to do is identify our problem,
Okay.
the collections, and how do we get out of that
Okay.
so that we can get to our end goal of buying a home.
You mentioned something and I really don't know anything about this. The FHA,
Mhm.
what exactly is
So
that?
FHA is a type of mortgage
Okay.
that allows us to have more of a debt to income ratio.
Okay.
So, for example, it allows us a 50%, sometimes a little bit higher,
Okay.
but 50% is a very safe avenue that we can bet on.
Okay.
So, what does that mean for us? It means that if we have $4,000 in income a month,
Okay. Okay.
our total debt, including the new proposed mortgage payment,
Okay.
cannot exceed $2,000.
Okay.
So it allows us some flexibility to be able to buy.
That's with the FHA though.
Yes. It's a matter of just meeting with different banks
Okay.
and speaking with different people
Okay.
to determine what is the best route for you. Because what may be good for one person may not be the same good for another person.
Okay.
Everybody has a different scenario.
Okay, so the FHA you might be able to do it if you, but see, that's when it behooves you to understand what you owe.
Yes.
And what's coming in.
Yes.
When you're paying it.
Yes.
And how much to pay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it all goes back to knowing where you stand and where you are with your credit.
Okay.
That's kind of that's the baseline of everything.
Okay.
Is you need an idea of where you are.
Okay. So these grants, okay, go back. Okay. You said FHA and then you said grants. So what exactly is the difference?
So FHA allows somebody to purchase with 3.5% down payment.
Okay.
There is a lot of other aspects to the FHA program.
Okay.
I'm just giving a very brief overview.
Okay.
It allows you to purchase with a lot of instances, $500 credit score if you have 10% down.
Okay.
But if you have a 580 FICO score, there are lenders such as myself that can do 3.5% down payment with a 580 FICO score.
Help me. Okay. I don't know about you guys out there, but FICO scores are
our credit scores.
Okay, that's another way of saying your
Yeah.
credit score. Okay. Okay. And the FICO scores are reported to the Experian and the
TransUnion.
But I've noticed that they your FICO score at Experian might be totally different than your FICO score.
Yes.
Okay, so why is that?
It's just a different scoring system with each one of the bureaus. I wish I could explain the details to you. I don't understand them all myself.
Okay.
I just understand how the scoring system works.
Okay.
And that's what we kind of all need to do is we need to understand how does the scoring system work. For example, we would like to be under 30% of our debt allowed. So what does that mean? That means if one of our credit cards allows us $100 spending limit, we want to be at under $30. Under 30% of the maximum amount of debt.
Okay, so if I've got a $20,000 card limit, so what's...
Oh, you're going to test my math now.
Yeah, I know. So 30% of that, I mean, would be what you want
You
to
want
stay
to be
under.
below. So if you have to have a balance on your credit card,
Okay.
ideally that's going to give you the highest scoring is that when you're under 30% of that.
Okay, I know that 20%, 10% is 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, at least under $6,000 on that credit limit
Yes.
in order to get to 30%.
Yes.
That's basic math for me right now.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's something we need to understand.
Yes.
Don't go for the max. Don't max your cards out,
Mhm.
number one, because you don't know. Yes, because the interest rates are cues.
Oh, yes. And interest rates are very high right now. It will sneak up on you.
See,
You may be window shopping and saying, oh, I'm just going to use my credit card this one time and I'm going to pay it off. I'm going to pay it off. And you know what? We never pay it off.
yes.
So what we want to do, if we have a goal and our goal is to buy a home or to get out of debt,
Okay.
you know, there's a saying, hear no evil, see no evil. Maybe the best thing is don't go window shopping.
When I first started out, and this is just a sidebar, I went with American Express cards.
Mhm.
And I didn't understand. Okay, I thought, well, if I went out and I bought it, they say you have to pay it off. And I had to have something done. And it was, really something I had to get done. And so I charged it on the card and I couldn't pay it in that next month. And that what took me over. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I was under stress.
Well, American Express is one of those cards that has two formats.
Mm-hmm.
One format is where it must be paid off by the end of the month.
Right.
The other American Express format allows you to pay monthly.
Well, I wasn't on that one.
You just need to be aware if you're dealing with American Express, when you're speaking to the agent to open up a card, you want to definitely ask, which card are you opening?
Yes, then we have to understand what cards we're opening and what those details are. So just don't sign just because they're giving you money. They're
Yes.
not giving you money.
Right. No, we definitely don't want to be opening random cards just to
Thank
open
you.
random cards.
Thank you.
Like I said, if you have between 3 and 6 trade lines on your credit report, you are in great shape.
Okay.
Great shape. We want everything to be manageable.
Okay. Now back to these grants. How does one go about getting grants? How do you get in to know where they are?
So a lot of the major banks have these programs. And one thing that you want to do is Google first-time home buyer programs.
Okay, wait. First time home buyers programs. And that's a .com or
If you Google it, you're going to see many sites
okay.
pop up.
Okay.
So I can tell you Wayne County
Okay.
is giving multiple grants out.
Okay.
They are doing everything. Wayne County is doing a great job
Okay.
of helping support people in buying a home.
Okay.
Bank of America,
Okay.
Huntington Bank,
Okay.
PRMG,
Okay.
Chase,
Okay.
all of the major banks all have programs set aside and grant money set aside
Okay.
to be able to buy in any county, but especially Wayne County right now.
Okay. So if I go into there and I tell them I would like to qualify for a home, do I have to get pre-qualified or?
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to meet with a representative.
Okay.
It's a mortgage broker or a mortgage lender, I should say, with the banks.
Okay.
They're going to sit with you. You're
Okay.
going to have to give them all of your income documentation.
Okay.
And they're going to evaluate. They're going to pull your credit, but that's where I said, be aware of where you stand before you go in.
Okay.
And I would talk to the different banks first, see the different programs, and then decide which bank you want to go to. Because
Okay.
again, you already have an idea of where you stand.
Okay.
So for example, some banks have a minimum of a 620 FICO score
Okay.
for their grant.
Okay.
Some banks are a minimum of a 600 FICO score for their grant.
Okay.
Some banks have no FICO score for their grant.
Okay.
So you want to be aware of where you stand,
Okay.
speak to the different bankers, and then you can determine from there which would be the best route for you.
Okay. So if I go in and I put in this application and I don't get it, then what?
You will know why you're not getting it, though.
Okay.
They're going to tell you,
Okay.
whether it be your income
Okay.
or your credit.
Okay.
If it's your income, then you need to take a step back and identify what can I afford and maybe rethink.
Okay.
And a lot of people have the mindset of, oh, I want a huge house, but maybe they can only afford a condo right now.
Okay.
Go to the condo.
Okay.
Get something versus nothing. It's true. It's a tax write-off.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Exactly. And versus renting, every time we make a mortgage payment, we're putting money back towards our equity to save for our future.
Okay. And that's the difference between renting and buying.
Yes.
The equity fund.
Yes. And you have a tax write-off.
Okay.
It is people's biggest tax write-off that they'll have.
Okay.
So it's definitely worth it. And you have something to leave to your kids or your family.
Okay. So I go in and I find out that my credit score is what needs to be worked on. And that's where they send me to you.
Yep. We are definitely working with a lot of the banks right now, making them aware of our services.
Okay.
You can come to us. Let's say you have 20,000 in debt, 40,000 in debt, 80,000 in debt.
Oh, Jesus.
It happens. It
Okay.
creeps up.
Okay. And so they send us to you and you start helping us modify our spending.
And I guess a good word is collaborating our debt into one payment
Okay.
that becomes achievable for us to help pay off.
And that's where we learn how to, and I'm going to say this, a lot of us don't realize just where our monies are going.
Yes.
Oh, I paid this bill, but you didn't remember that you had this bill over here to pay, and now you're with no monies in your pocket, no monies in the bank, and you still owe over here.
Yes. And that's why I say to everybody also, if you're not doing the debt settlement route, be aware of what day of the month each one of your credit cards are due.
Okay.
And try and knock them out if you can. Because the interest rates are so high, you think you're making a monthly payment, but you're accruing more that you owe than what you're actually paying each month.
And go with that part, the interest rates. What would be a nice interest rate on a card that if we wanted to?
I'm not the best one to ask right
Okay.
now. Rates for credit cards are all over the place, just like mortgage rates.
Okay.
But in the end of the day, we can't live without it. So as long as we learn how to control it, we're okay. For example, again, even if the credit card that you were able to get has a 30% interest rate, and that's very high.
Oh, yes.
But as long as we're aware of what we have and what we're doing, we're okay. We control the situation. The situation doesn't control us. And what do I mean by that? Control what you're spending on there.
Yes.
If you were going to fill your gas right then and there, put your gas on your credit card and make the payment the next day instead.
Okay. Whew. That's a lot to learn, but okay. I'm increasing my score by paying off my debt.
Yes.
And the more I know about how when that card is due, it helps my credit rating get better.
Well, it helps us not fall late.
Okay.
On our credit cards.
And that's what we need
because
to do.
It's not realistic that we're going to have enough money by the first of every month to pay every single thing that's owed at the exact same time. And that's what has us all behind. So if we're aware of what is due when, that kind of helps us modify what we pay when.
Okay. So I've gotten all my collections and I'm guiding them down to a reasonable rate that I can now afford. And you come in and you help us even more?
Well, we can. We can help you find a home. We can help advise you on mortgages.
Okay.
Because again, one thing isn't good for everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody has a completely different scenario. And with the extensive background that I have, you know, I'm able to give good advice. I can't tell you how many clients that I have that I'd spent time working with, but in my heart, I discovered that they became in a better situation for Bank of America to help them, for example.
Okay.
And I can't tell you how many times that relationship that we have all built has paid off both ends.
Okay.
Because, for example, one of the banks can't do something that we can do. So they're able to send them back over to us.
Okay.
I will give you a great example.
Okay, good.
Okay. Let's say you're a self-employed borrower. The rule of thumb is that you need 2 years tax returns averaged out to determine what is your income. Correct?
Okay. Okay.
You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So you work for yourself. You file your taxes for 2 years in a row.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say you made 60,000 one year and 80,000 another year. Your income doesn't mean it's at 80. Your income is 70.
Right. Okay.
They average it out
Average it out. Okay.
of 2 years.
Okay.
Whereas my company, we have programs, and again, it is FICO score driven, and there's other aspects that, take effect that we have to consider.
Okay.
But we can, in a lot of cases, get you a mortgage with 1 year tax return.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that
And 5% down.
5% down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go back. One more thing. You mentioned about that house that they want, but they can't really afford. And you said go for the condo instead.
Go for what you can afford.
Okay. Because it's better for you.
To have something than nothing.
Okay.
Because that tax break that you're going to get each year is going to help you either A, pay down credit cards,
Okay.
or save up for that bigger house that you want the following year. And when we buy a home, even if it's a smaller home, what do we want to do? Take care of that home, love that home, and improve that home.
Okay.
And then you can most likely turn around and make a profit from that home.
Yes.
And that profit can help you buy or get towards your goals of achieving buying a bigger home.
Thank you. And a lot of people don't understand that. They always want that bigger, better now.
Yes.
Instead of delaying that gratification. And we're not delaying our dreams. We're learning how to
achieve our dreams.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's like a child learning to walk.
Okay.
You're a baby. You have to learn to crawl.
Okay.
Before you can learn to walk.
Okay.
You have to walk before you can run.
You listen to this. Impatience is not something you're going to do. We're going to learn how to be patient and learn how to govern our spending so we're not in collection so we can get that house of our dreams.
Yes.
And that's kind of a hard thing to do, especially when you want it now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
But as long as we do what we say, let's identify our goals, write our goals down, and then what are the steps that we need to achieve our goal?
Okay.
And sometimes it's easier when we can see it in front of us.
Okay, say them again. You gave the ABC or what was it? Yeah, go for it.
We need to identify our goal.
Okay.
Then we need to establish what do we need to do to establish our goal.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to do this. Okay. We've got the house that we want. And a lot of people, I'm going to say this, they think they've arrived, like I said before, and they stop paying.
It's not worth it to stop paying once you've worked so hard to get where you are.
Okay.
Do things happen in our life? Yes. But there are resources out there to help people.
Okay, that's what I want. Yes.
So Mishta is a fantastic program.
Okay.
They offer a grant program if you own a home and you fell behind.
Okay.
You can apply for a Mishta grant.
Okay.
To help you get caught up.
Okay. A Mishta grant. Okay. So whatever. What other options do we have? I mean, other grants that are available for us. So
the best thing we can do is Google, because depending on what county you live in and where you live, there's different programs.
Okay. I want more. I guess I want it so that if I apply for it, they'll say, "Oh, you
qualify.
You qualify." And if I'm getting my collections down and I've got my debt ratio within the limits that they prescribe, then that helps me get those grants.
Yes. When you're aware of your own position.
Okay.
You have to be aware of what are your FICO scores. Now, there's something super important that people don't realize.
Okay.
Just because you pull a Credit Karma on yourself and you see a FICO score of 620 or 630, it doesn't mean that you're a 620 or a 630 when the banks pull you.
Oh, okay.
There's different scoring systems.
Okay.
There's a different scoring system for applying for a credit card.
Uh-oh.
There's a different scoring system when you apply for a car.
Okay.
There's a different scoring system when you apply for a home. So when I tell you to just pull a Credit Karma, this will give you a guideline of where you are.
Okay.
So at least You are not walking to a bank that's requiring a 620 FICO score, and you're not walking in blind and you have a 520 FICO score.
Okay.
You are in a better position of where you stand.
Okay, you said that there are different ones. So do we have to work at different levels to get our FICO scores up? How do you do that?
Again, if you follow the guidelines of having 3 to 6 credit cards. Now, if you have way more than that and you're pulling your FICO scores and your FICO scores are showing 680 and 700, don't close credit cards.
Okay.
What you're doing is working.
Okay.
Because if your goal is to buy a house, make sure that, your debt is paid down, but I wouldn't close any trade lines.
Okay.
Because a lot of times that'll bring your scores down.
Okay. And a lot of people believe that the less credit I've got,
Yes, and that's
the
not
better
the
my
case.
score is. Yes. And it's actually not showing the people that you've got a good payment
Correct.
regime going.
Correct.
And that's what you really want to show people
Mhm.
in your credit. Okay. I'm learning. Excuse me. Okay, so I've got my 6 lines. When you say 6 lines, that means different credit cards?
Trade lines could be
Okay.
a car,
Okay.
could be a credit card.
Okay.
Sometimes if we're financing jewelry,
Okay.
that could be reported on our credit report.
Okay. Okay, so we have to make sure we've got at least 6, but we don't want to go
Between 3 to 6.
Okay.
If you're already over, then okay.
Okay.
But if you're not, don't go opening more to think
Just-
that you're going to get a better score.
Okay. We're learning.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're going to be debt free because we're coming to you.
Now understand, we'll never be debt free.
Uh-oh.
I mean, the likelihood is
Sorry.
we're always going to owe some kind of debt.
Okay.
But we want to be in a manageable position.
Okay.
We don't want our debt to control us. We want to control our debt.
Okay. And that's being smart
Yes.
about what we know about what we have outstanding as
Mhm.
far as debts and when to pay them on time
Yes.
and what our ratio is for our, what we owe to our income.
Mhm.
And that's being an informed
Yes.
creditor. No, an informed what? Consumer?
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to learn how to do that, and you're going to help us because you're the Second Start Financial Incorporated.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you one more thing. You said at the beginning that you started this because you were in a realty, your family started it?
Yes.
Okay.
My family is in real estate also.
Okay.
I'm in financing also.
Okay.
But I saw a hole. There was a disconnect.
Okay.
When people have so much in collections, they can't get out of it.
Okay.
And so that needs to be addressed.
And a lot of people, when they see what they owe, and they say, well, I can never afford this.
You can afford it.
And that's where we need your help, your guidance
Mhm.
to get us out from under that hopelessness.
Yes, there's always hope.
Yes. We thank you for joining us. She is
Nicole Machini.
Nicole Machini. Yes, I'm going to slaughter it again.
That's okay.
Nicole, thank you for coming in. She's from the Second Star Financial Incorporated. And make sure that you tune in because I'm going to give her number out. Make sure you give her a call if you want her assistance. She's there to help you get that second start.
Another thing you could do, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Mhm.
If I ever am not able to reach back fast enough, you can go right to our website and register, and somebody will return the call right away.
Awesome. Awesome. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Total You. This was Nicole Mancini.
Yes.
Yes, I got it right. And your host is Evangelist Maurice Wallace with the Total You. Please continue to watch us for more informative showings. Thank you again.